Hi, how you doing there, folks? I'm making this video to protest the draconian service cuts and fare increases that have been proposed by New York City Transit Authority. And what I'm doing is I'm coming up making a video about solutions that should be done. I fully support the Ravage plan that calls for more funding for the MTA New York City Transit to prevent the draconian fare hikes and service cuts, but I am against any fare increase whatsoever unless it entails service increases over the levels that are now. I'm not for paying more just for the same service that's not that good. Okay, folks? Now, number one, what I think should be done is I'm all for the 1% increase in the personal income tax. Most of the money, 85% should go, 80% should go towards MTA New York City Transit. The other 10% should go to the city of New York's. 10% should go to the state's budget. The same would be an increase in the state income tax, and the remainder of the money, 10%, should go towards funding programs in state assembly and senate districts in order to get the lawmakers to vote for it, and the money should go to the transit systems near in the areas raised. Now, excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold, folks. Now, another thing I'm for is to frisk the tolls on the East River bridges. I'm for there should be $5 in each direction, and the money raised from that, 80% of which should go to the MTA New York City Transit to prevent the draconian fare hikes and service cuts. 10% of the money raised from there should go towards the city's budget, and money should be earmarked from that 10% to reopen the 5 engine companies that Mayor Bloomberg took off, and should be increases in fire protection by 5 engine companies being and radar companies being added in New York City. The other 5% should go to the state's budget, and the remaining 5% should go towards funding programs in state assemblies, state senate, and council districts in order to get the lawmakers to vote for it. Now, another thing I'm for is putting back the commuter tax. The commuter tax should be put back in New York City. 80% of the money raised from the commuter tax should go towards the city's budget, because the city of New York is having deficit problems. 10% of that money should go to the MTA New York City Transit as funding from the additional funding from the city to prevent the fare increases and service cuts, and the remaining 10% should go towards funding state assembly, state senate, city council programs to get the lawmakers to vote for it. Okay, now I think that would be very good, folks. And another thing that should be done to raise even more money for MTA New York City Transit, and that is raise the taxes on cigarettes, pipes, and cigars. $1, all the money should go towards MTA New York City Transit, or in the transit systems in the areas raised, with with 30% of that money going to the state, 50% to go to the MTA New York City Transit and transit systems in the area raised, 20% should go towards the state budgets, 10% should be shared with states and with cities and local governments in the areas raised, and the money to go to transit systems in the areas raised, and 10% of it should go towards projects, transit projects, and rebuilding bridges and roads. The 10% of that, and money should go towards getting the Second Avenue subway built, and the remaining 10% should be used for fund programs to state assembly and senate districts to get the lawmakers to vote for it. Alright, so hopefully this is done, and something has to be done in order to fight these service cuts and fare increases that the MTA is proposing. I'm for sure against having fare increases every 2 years without a public hearing. That's only going to encourage the MTA, New York City Transit, to waste money by management increases and behind the scenes waste, and that's totally not good. All right, okay.